What's this? Going live, an impromptu stream twice in 2 days. This is more typical me. Not normally particularly well planned. I have no idea if anyone's going to pop in and say hello, but just wanted to get something off my chest. Before I do, I'm recording a video earlier today, and my eyes pretty much packed up on me while I was recording. Maybe I feel sick. I don't know. Need some new glasses. I had these glasses for about 4 years, and my eyesight has deteriorated quite badly in those 4 years. Hello, squirrel. So yeah, just thought I'd break my own personal silence on the whole debacle that's going on at the moment. I generally avoided it because I like to read up a little and try and learn things before I make statements. Hello, Jean. How are you? And I have been following things on Twitter and places like that, and not generally jumping to conclusions. Waiting to see when official things come out and what have you. And why does it even bother me? Why does it even bother me? Because the last Wizards of the Coast product I bought was Xanathar's Guide a little while ago, and I am not going to spend anything more on their stuff. I haven't bought a lot of 5th edition stuff. I'd rather spend my money on other games. But something I read this morning, there's been another leak on Twitter, and it seems to be quite a reliable source. Everything that this guy has posted so far has proven to be on the money. It looks like he's getting things from somewhere within the big machine that is Hasbro / Wizards of the Coast. And yeah, General Nuts grabs Pitchfork +1 and Torch. I'm not going to rant today. But what I read was something on Twitter saying that the plan all along is for them to change the subscriptions on DnDBeyond, various tiers of subscription. They're still pushing to withdraw the OGL, and those in lower tiers of the subscription can't use any homebrew content. So those who want to pay a small amount to play D&D online monthly are stuck playing only official Wizards of the Coast products. Haven't their adventures been garbage for the last 2 or 3 years? Their best rated stuff has always been, hello Hunger, I've got the shirt on today, Hunger, there we are. Their best rated stuff has been stuff they did a while ago, stuff like Strahd and Ghosts of Saltmarsh and Tomb of Annihilation. It's all the stuff that's inspired by, and it's all the stuff that was previously done for earlier editions of D&D, and it's just been converted and developed for 5th edition. So they haven't done anything that's been highly rated for the last couple of years. And yet, if you want to play 5th edition, well, it'll be 6th edition, won't it? Online, you're going to have to use their own virtual tabletop and only run official content. And then there's another comment in there that then want to move towards a simple sort of AI DM approach. It's becoming even more video gamey. It's just going to be like a board game moving chess pieces around. Or World of Warcraft D&D. It's just absolute nonsense. Of course, it's not going to affect those of us who play predominantly face-to-face. But is this a sign for the future whereby they're going to withdraw physical books and just make D&D a video game? Is this possible? Tell me in chat, am I putting my tinfoil hat on about this? Am I getting, I'm not getting worked up because I've made a decision this morning regarding Wizards of the Coast products. And that is when my friend, hello, Errant Dragon, when my friend has finished running our Monday campaign, which is the Dragon Lords Kickstarter one, running through 5th edition, that's going to be it for me. I'm not going to play any Wizards of the Coast products from that moment forward. I'm in the middle of running various bits and pieces of my own modified 5th edition through Roll20. If I continue with those, I'll just convert them to AD&D, whether the players like it or not. Because I think those sort of statements have got to be made. I'm probably going to get to the case where my 6 or 7 5th edition books up there, I'll give them away to a new home just to be gone with it, because it's come to the point where the whole ethos of the tabletop role-playing game hobby, they're taking the biggest name from the hobby and it feels to me like they're going to be dragging it away from the physical tabletop. What made it so good, the face-to-face interactions, meeting up with your friends on a Friday night, sitting around having a few beers, scoffing a big bag of greasy chips, and just getting on with your mates, a chance to meet up with your mates, and they just want to move it all online. Yes, I understand why people play online. I play online. I've met a lot of really good people playing online and had some really, really good sessions. But the root of the hobby is meeting up with your friends and just chilling out and just enjoying yourselves. And if they try and take that away from the biggest name, isn't that just a kick up the backside, a kick up the arse? Isn't it? Well, that's the wrong word. A kick in the teeth. Anyhow, let's have a little look at what chat is saying. Now, that thing about the lack of DMs, I personally think that's only a lack of a certain type of DM in a certain type of location. As in the New York gaming scene where people are paying to play, a lack of paid DMs. I don't believe there is a lack of DMs per se. There's just a lack of DMs who are willing to put themselves up to offer the service. Haven't you seen that sort of that phrase appear in the last few years? How DMs are offering a service. Rubbish. We're players as well. We're there to enjoy ourselves as well. But that piece about the lack of DMs, it didn't seem to care about that side of DMing, where the DM is just a DM, just another player. It was focusing on one company who run big games in New York where they're paid a lot of money, and the sort of players who just want to turn up and get a critical role type experience and don't really care about the nuts and bolts of the hobby. So I don't believe there's a lack of DMs. There is a lack of paid DMs. There's a lack of professional DMs. And for me there, so what? And yes, that lines up with Cynthia Williams' statement about D&D being under monetized. They want to become EA. They want to milk the gamers for all they can get. It really is very, very sad. And Hungar, yep, this is exactly what I see. They exactly wanting to go straight to a nothing but online model, because if they can still make money for not having any published books, they're going to make it. Yeah, precisely. It's down to profit margins. If they make, for example, £5 on the sale of a book, and that book lasts the person 5 or 6 years, but that's all they sell that person, or they make £5, £10, £30 a month subscription for producing no physical product at all, it is a no-brainer. And it feels to me, such are these profit margins, they don't care about the majority of us who buy the books, who play things at home, because they'll be able to make more money out of less people playing the game, because the profit margins are higher with online. If they make 6 times the profit per person, they won't care about losing half of the player base, because they're still making more money. Yeah. Yeah. Quite simply, when this Dragon Lords campaign that I'm playing in is finished, there will be no more Wizards of the... I'm not going to run any more Wizards of the Coast games. I'm not going to offer to join any Wizards of the Coast games. That is going to be it. I'm going to stick with the games I know I like, that I know the companies produce quality physical products. And if the players don't want to play that, then it's a case of I'll find other players. It's easy. It's easy. But I know my players do enjoy playing those games. But I know they learnt they're newer to the hobby than me, and they came in. Some of them in the late 3.5 era, some during the 4th edition era, and some came in during the early 5th edition era. So it's Wizards products that they learn the game with. So obviously they're going to have these natural connections to them. And I have teased them away. I've played quite a few TSR games with them and played a lot of Call of Cthulhu with them as well. And I know they like their traditional fantasy. I like my horror. I will admit that. But I do like traditional fantasy. But for me, traditional fantasy is going to be first edition D&D, second edition D&D, basic D&D, maybe get some OSE because I'm sure that we'll still be able to get hold of that. Middle Earth. I need to get into playing a bit of the One Ring and Conan. I have bought those and haven't played them yet. But for me, it's going to be more Call of Cthulhu. It's got to be. It's got to be. It's what I'm best at running. Yes, Stuart, I think you're right here. They want everything automated in their virtual tabletop, and it is sad because I mean I don't understand the legalities behind it all. But if Wizards rescind the OGL and make their own virtual tabletop, will that mean that places like Roll20 can't support official 5th edition content? Will it mean that branded 5th edition character sheets can't be shown on Roll20 or 6th edition or whatever it is? I really don't know. I don't understand. I mean, I'm in Britain. I don't understand. Obviously, this is going to be American law that's relevant here. But I don't know. So will that mean places like Roll20 and Albert Rodeo and those sort of places are going to struggle? I haven't got a clue. But what's for certain is that Wizards want a monopoly. They want their version of D&D played through their virtual tabletop using their content. And of course, they can filter that content so it has to follow their ideologies as well. I play quite I like historic game. I like horror games. I like games with a historic feel to them. And one of the big problems with me with current Forgotten Realms is they've brought so many modern attitudes into it that my feudal Europe style game that I want to run, it's not present in the current Forgotten Realms. And that's not due to me being whatever-ist or whatever. It's because I have mild Asperger's, and I like the game to have a strong sense of verisimilitude. And when you get all the anachronisms, whether they be social, whether they be technological, whatever, then I struggle to ground myself in the game. So I like to play a very medieval Europe style of D&D. It's just me. That's just me. Yeah, you're correct, Squirrel. The lack of DMs is false. There's plenty of DMs out on Discords and whatever. They're just not monetizing their work. That's just it. We DM for free. We DM because we have fun doing it. And of course, the OSR is a threat to them. The growing OSR is a major threat to companies that want to sell new products because, well, there are new OSR products, so don't get me wrong, but for Wizards of the Coast, they want their version of D&D to be constantly evolving, and they want to be able to sell new rule books or whatever, and they don't want people to veer away and go back to these dirty old OSR games that are based on old rule sets. Nothing wrong with them. Nothing wrong with them. But 13 people watching just my impromptu feelings about the whole situation. I can't keep this going on for very long. I can tell you that now, because I've got 20. I'm looking into other options for streaming purposes, in terms of getting 3 hours and whatever. And if my Wednesday one goes for its full 3 hours, I can then come in under the 20 hours for Friday. I can have the Friday stream. So this is a maximum of half an hour on this one. Absolute maximum. Yeah, there'll be a lot of people in that situation. Certainly the lockdowns did encourage people to find games online, and that's what they will know. And Hasbro are trying to profiteer from that. No doubt about it. A lot of us will have gone back to playing face-to-face games. I certainly play a lot more online games now than I did before all the lockdowns, and I have got into a habit of doing it. And that I have found that, if anything, I enjoy running Call of Cthulhu more online through Discord than I do at the table. And I love running it at the table. It's just that having just your own thoughts in an atmospheric game, run entirely theatre of the mind, that suits Call of Cthulhu for me. I love the game. Love the game. Yeah, exactly. A dark fantasy where life is hard. And same for me, Squirrel. Same for me. I was a TSR kid. Very much a TSR kid. And let's hope this happens. Let's hope this happens. But let's hope that these older games and these newer OSR clones are still available after all of this is settled. I've heard a lot of people say that they can't fully rescind that old OGL. So hopefully all the stuff that's been produced for it can still be out there, because that's, of course, what allows us to have the likes of OSE and what have you. Scrap Dungeon 23 and start Rules 23. Make your own game. My own game would be an absolute car crash, absolute mess. And yes, forgotten realms, crossing medieval and Renaissance. It's more than that. I mean, technologically, it's medieval and Renaissance, but you've got airships. I know Cornelius von Drebbel sort of did a basic airship in sort of the 17th century. Didn't fly with people in it. The first hot air flights were the Montgolfiers in 1785, and first airships were late 19th, early 20th century. And that's the thing I don't want that. I don't want that sort of crossover of technology. And you've got rapiers, which are Renaissance, and you've got people fighting with glaives, which are one of the earliest form of polearm. Yeah, I'm a nerd. When I do D&D, I strip out weapons that aren't from the right era. There's no rapiers in my games, I'm afraid. It's War of the Roses level. Is this my tinfoil hat? Because we've had that piece on a lack of DMs. We've had that piece from PBS about how everyone in the OSR is a bad person and horrible and all that rubbish. Have these sort of things been encouraged just before this new OGL to try and encourage people to give their lives to the great WotC and the new 6th edition or whatever? I don't know. I really don't know. I wish I did know. It makes me feel like one of those weirdos online who starts shrieking about people didn't land on the moon or whatever. We did. Yes, OGL for me. This is the only time I'm going to be talking about it. I've kept off it on purpose on my streams. I don't. when people argue about it in my Discord, I try and steer. I don't chime in very much. I just let them go ahead. But they have to make me a cup of tea. That's it. A couple of beers. Well, yeah, I normally drive, so make me a cup of tea. Yeah. But anyway, oh, is this supposed to be a 10 p.m. UK time tonight? A DnDBeyond stream on Twitch. I don't do Twitch. I didn't know anything about that. I just have a bit of a Twitch. Sorry. Do apologize for that. Yeah, I can see it is all grey. It is all up in the air. It does feel dirty, and I understand people are going to be happy with including airships. I'm not, because I prefer games to meet a certain technological balance, and I like the social aspects to fit as well. I will try to add feudal elements to games, and I will try to make people treat aristocracy a certain way. God's sake, I'm running Reign of Terror, Call of Cthulhu at the moment, and that's aristocracy versus the proletariat, and these elements are there in there, and I love that sort of thing. We all play the game differently, but that I'm just telling you why Forgotten Realms doesn't work for me. And if official content in WotC is set in Forgotten Realms, then it's all the more reason for me to turn my back. But I do want to thank a lot of people for chiming in. I'm behind on the chat quite badly. I always am, because I wobble on and don't look at it. But it's nice to see that people, yeah, your game, your choice, and my choice is goodbye WotC. If you're forcing Forgotten Realms on everybody, goodbye WotC. And if you're forcing a virtual tabletop that is a monopoly, and the only place you can get new versions of D&D on people, goodbye WotC. When my current Dragonlords game is over, I'm not running. Yeah, for me, that will be goodbye WotC. No more. Don't even ask. But I am going to have to stop the stream now, because I have to manage the time so I can do my Fighting Fantasy and my Midweek Geek stream this week. So thank you all for listening to me wobble on. I just thought I'd make my point. This is the only video you'll get from me on the topic. So see you all. Thank you for chiming in.